Burn your vision board, tear apart the 5-year plan you wrote last New Year, and stop returning to the journals where you keep asking life for what you want, because slowly and quietly these things stop guiding you and start controlling you, keeping you emotionally attached to a future version of yourself that does not exist in the present moment. You have been taught that success begins with having a clear goal, a fixed destination on the horizon that pulls you forward. But if you honestly observe your life without bias, you may notice something uncomfortable, that this constant chasing does not always create peace or power. It often creates tension, anxiety, and dependence on outcomes you cannot fully control. And instead of making you stronger, it sometimes makes you emotionally reactive to things outside your influence. Robert Greene, who studies human behavior, power, and strategy, presents a very different understanding. That people who develop real influence in life are not driven by hope alone. They are guided by structure, awareness, and calculated movement. Because a goal is often just desire disguised as direction. And when you build your identity around desire, you begin to live in a constant state of waiting. Waiting for success, waiting for change, waiting for validation, waiting for life to finally begin, while the present moment slowly loses its strength and clarity. Most people spend years trapped in this cycle of becoming something in the future, but never fully living in the present. And because their identity is tied to something they have not achieved yet, even small delays feel like failure, and minor setbacks feel like collapse, because their emotional stability depends on something outside their control. Robert Greene repeatedly highlights that strong individuals do not anchor themselves to a single outcome or fragile hope. Instead, they build adaptability, positioning, and awareness into their thinking, and this is where the real shift begins. When you stop attaching your identity to one fixed destination, you stop breaking every time life changes direction, and instead you start moving strategically rather than emotionally, observing rather than reacting. What you are about to understand is not motivational thinking. It is a restructuring of mindset where you are no longer dependent on one outcome to define your worth, but instead focused on building control through direction, skill, awareness, and positioning. And before this transformation can happen, you must release the emotional addiction to goals that give temporary comfort, but remove long-term control. And only then does a deeper method of thinking begin to reveal itself. Ask yourself honestly why you set goals like, I want to make $1 million, or I want to be happy. Because in most cases, these goals come not from clarity, but from discomfort with your current reality, and they act as a way to mentally escape the present rather than fully face it. A goal often behaves less like a real map and more like temporary relief, easing the pressure of where you are right now by shifting your mind into an imagined future. But Robert Greene's way of understanding human behavior suggests this can distort perception, because when you become attached to an outcome, you stop focusing on the actual process required to reach it. Your attention becomes narrow, fixed only on the end result, while the real challenges, adjustments, and realities in front of you are ignored. And this creates rigidity in thinking, and anything rigid eventually breaks when conditions change. Think about the last time a major goal failed or got delayed, and how quickly that affected your confidence. Not because your worth changed, but because your identity was tied to something unstable and not fully in your control. Robert Greene repeatedly highlights that mastery is different from wishful thinking, because it is based on skill, awareness, positioning, and continuous improvement rather than emotional desire for a result. A strategist does not simply say, I want success, because that is passive and dependent. Instead, they think in terms of capability and structure, such as building skills that remain valuable in any environment, or positioning themselves where opportunities naturally flow, which changes the entire foundation of thinking. The difference between these two approaches is control versus dependence, because goal-based thinking relies on uncertainty, while strategic thinking reduces uncertainty through preparation and awareness. When you remove emotional attachment to a single outcome, you are not giving up ambition. You are removing fragility, and you begin to focus only on what you can actually control in the present, such as your skills, your decisions, your direction, and your environment. This shift turns you from someone who reacts emotionally to outcomes into someone who builds outcomes through consistent action. And Robert Greene's core idea across his work is that power belongs to those who adapt and position themselves correctly, rather than those who simply hope. So instead of obsessing over distant results, you start identifying leverage points in your life, fixing weak areas, and building systems that move forward regardless of temporary setbacks, replacing emotional dependency with structured progress and continuous movement. We live in an era where everything is loud, where people feel the need to announce every move they make, whether it is starting a business, beginning a fitness journey, or planning a new project. And this constant sharing often creates an illusion of progress before real work has even started. Robert Greene, in his studies of strategy and human behavior, highlights a different truth. That visibility too early can create unnecessary vulnerability, because the moment you reveal your intentions, two things happen inside you and around you. First, your mind receives a false sense of completion, as if speaking about the work is the same as doing it. And this releases mental satisfaction that reduces urgency, making you less driven to actually execute. Second, you expose your direction to external opinions, where doubt, comparison, and silent resistance from others begin to influence your focus, even if you do not realize it, because not everyone who hears your plans wants to see them succeed. Historically, people who understood strategy often worked in silence, focusing on execution first and only revealing outcomes when results were already undeniable. And this principle is not about secrecy for its own sake, but about protecting your energy and attention from unnecessary interference. When you constantly talk about what you will do, part of your motivation leaks out in words, but when you stay quiet, that same energy is redirected into action and refinement. Instead of building your identity around announcements, you begin building it around consistency, where your progress becomes visible only through results, not promises. This shifts your mindset from seeking validation to developing capability, because now you are no longer performing for approval, but working with intention. In this state, you operate with more clarity, observing situations more carefully, planning your steps with precision, and avoiding emotional distractions that come from external reactions. Robert Greene repeatedly emphasizes that influence grows strongest when it is felt rather than announced. And when your actions speak louder than your words, people naturally begin to notice your presence, without you needing to demand attention. This approach also strengthens discipline. Because you are no longer rewarded for talking, you are only rewarded for doing, and over time this creates a powerful internal structure where execution becomes your default mode. Instead of broadcasting your goals, you build what can be called a private strategy, where your focus is internal alignment and outward results, allowing your progress to create its own recognition naturally, without noise, without explanation, and without distraction. This is the point where most people lose control of themselves, because they build their entire direction around a fixed outcome. And when life interrupts that outcome through unexpected changes such as setbacks, instability, or emotional disruption, they assume everything has failed and collapse internally. But Robert Greene's strategic thinking suggests a completely different interpretation of these moments, where uncertainty is not an enemy but a constant condition of reality that must be understood and used rather than resisted. When people are attached to rigid outcomes, any disruption feels personal, and they interpret it as failure. But in reality, it is simply a change in conditions that requires adjustment rather than emotional breakdown. The goal-oriented mindset tends to say this was not supposed to happen, while the strategic mindset says this is the new environment. Now what is the move? And this difference determines who recovers and who breaks under pressure. When plans fall apart, the weak mindset becomes emotional and stops moving, but the strategic mindset immediately shifts attention toward available options. because power is not in preserving a plan but in responding effectively to reality as it changes. Robert Greene repeatedly emphasizes that successful individuals are not those who avoid chaos, but those who adapt faster than it can destabilize them, turning unexpected events into opportunities for repositioning and growth. Instead of relying on a single fixed path, you begin to operate with flexibility, where there is no emotional attachment to one outcome, only commitment to forward movement under changing conditions. This mindset removes the fear of failure because failure is no longer treated as an endpoint, but as information about the environment, guiding your next decision. When you adopt this approach, even difficult situations like loss, delay, or uncertainty stop being emotional disasters and instead become strategic signals that show where adjustments are needed. In this way, life stops being something you try to control perfectly and becomes something you learn to navigate intelligently, where every disruption strengthens your ability to think clearly under pressure rather than weaken it, and over time you develop resilience not by avoiding chaos, but by becoming skilled at moving through it without losing direction. We are told to love ourselves, to practice self-care, to be gentle with our shortcomings, and while there is a time for rest, there is no time for weakness. Robert Greene's work repeatedly demonstrates that every powerful individual eventually faces the same challenge, mastering themselves before attempting to master anything else. Apply this to yourself. Do you love yourself? Probably. You let yourself sleep in. You let yourself eat the junk food. You let yourself skip the work because you don't feel like it. That is comfort, and that comfort is making you mediocre. You need to fear the part of you that is lazy. You need to fear the part of you that settles. You need to fear the version of you that wakes up 5 years from now with nothing to show for it. You must become your own ruler. This sounds harsh. It is. But look at the results of comfort. Look at where it has gotten society. Weak bodies, weak minds, fragile emotions. A strategist imposes order on chaos. You are the ruler of your own mind. But right now, your mind is a rebellion. Your impulses are rioting. They want cheap dopamine. They want comfort. If you try to negotiate with them endlessly, they will laugh at you. You must crush the rebellion. Delete the goal of losing weight. Install the mandate of physical sovereignty. A sovereign does not negotiate with terrorists, and your cravings are terrorists. They are holding your potential hostage. When you develop this internal fear, this deep respect for your own standards, you stop needing external motivation. You don't need a YouTube video to pump you up. You don't need a motivational quote. You operate from necessity. You do it because you must. Because the alternative is being a slave to your impulses. And here is the paradox. When you are ruthless with yourself, you become freer. Discipline is the only freedom. When you can command yourself to do the hard thing and you actually do it, you feel a power that no goal can give you. You feel dangerous. You walk into a room and you know, I can control myself. Therefore, I can control this room. Most people cannot even control what they eat for breakfast. How can they expect to control a negotiation? How can they expect to control their destiny? Establish the law within yourself. Write your own constitution. I do not complain. I do not speak of plans. I execute them. I do not react to insults. I analyze them. Violate the law and punish yourself. Keep the law and reward yourself. Be a fair king, but be a strong king. So if we delete the goals, what replaces them? What does the Robert Greene power method actually look like on a Tuesday morning? It comes down to 3 pillars: positioning, leverage, adaptability. Positioning. Stop asking, what do I want to achieve? Start asking, where must I be standing? If you want to be rich, position yourself in the flow of money. Don't set a goal to make $10,000. Go stand where the $10,000 is being exchanged. Learn the language of that place. Adopt the customs of that place. If you want to be strong, position yourself in environments of resistance. Success is not a sprint, it is a location. Move your body and mind to the location where success is the natural byproduct. Leverage. Goals are linear. 1 + 1 = 2. Leverage is exponential. 1 + 1 = 10. Robert Greene's historical examples repeatedly show that powerful figures rarely relied on brute force alone. They used alliances, they used networks, they used influence. Look at your life. Are you doing everything with brute force? How can you use technology? How can you use other people's time? How can you use other people's money? The strategist asks, how can I get the maximum result with the minimum necessary effort? This is not laziness, it is efficiency. It is conserving your energy for the decisive move, adaptability. Wake up every day and read the room. Read the market, read your own energy levels. If you are tired, do low-energy strategic work. If you are energetic, do high-energy execution work. Do not force a square peg into a round hole just because your schedule says so. Be water if the door is locked. Go through the window. If the window is barred, dig a tunnel. If the ground is too hard, wait for rain to soften it. Never stop moving, but never be afraid to change the direction of the movement. This method is simpler because it removes the emotional weight of failing. You cannot fail if you are constantly adapting. You can only be delayed, and delay to a strategist is just time to sharpen the blade. When you delete your goals and adopt this method, something shifts in your eyes. You stop looking desperate. You stop looking like you are chasing something. You start looking like you have something. People are drawn to certainty. In a world of anxious goal setters, the man with a system is king. You become the eye of the storm, calm, cold, watchful, while they are running around screaming about their 5-year plans. You are quietly laying the bricks of an empire that will stand for 50. You stop getting high on the fantasy of the future, and you start getting high on the control of the present. Every action becomes a ritual of power. Every silence becomes a maneuver. Every setback becomes a lesson in geometry, calculating the new angle of attack. This is the Robert Greene way. It is not for everyone. It is dark. It is lonely. It requires you to kill the part of you that wants to be saved. No one is coming to save you. No goal is going to save you. Only you can save you. And you will do it not by wishing, but by commanding. Now you are awake. You have looked into the abyss of your own ambition, and you did not blink. But understanding the philosophy is only the first step. The mind is a tricky servant. It will try to slide back into old habits. It will try to set a goal tomorrow morning. You must watch it. You must guard the throne of your mind. There is one specific trap that destroys even the best strategists. It is the trap of emotional leakage. It is the moment you let your feelings dictate your strategy. Robert Greene warns about this more than anything else. Subscribe if you haven't.